So started recording. So I hope everyone is well. Welcome to this tutorial. We are going to be looking at the exam, the past exam, SSA 2000 and no, this is not actually. Okay, why is it showing? Okay. Okay, well, I guess this is the one. I'm not sure if. Let me check if I downloaded the correct paper. Okay, I think it's the correct paper. It's just the namings are different, so I'll just stick to this naming. I was told to look at this paper, so right. Before we start, does anyone has a question? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you. So we start with question one. Question one is use UML to model the following scenario. There are two different kind of vitamin, namely fat soluble and water soluble. Every vitamin has a chemical formula given as a string as well as a letter and an integer, which both serve as an identifier. The formula and identifiers are set during creation and can therefore thereafter only be read. Every vitamin can be synthesized, but each does so in its own way. A multivitamin complex contains both kinds of vitamin. When a multivitamin complex is synthesized, it delegates the task to synthesis to its own collection of vitamins. So I think we'll just use DR for this. So we are asked to just draw a UML diagram to model the scenario. So we have two different kinds of vitamins, fat solubles and water. So there is a vitamin class, we know that. How do we? Okay, just. I'm not very used to DR. I was not able to access my Lucy chart. Where is this now? Why is it showing weird? This, I think there should be another. Okay, you know what? I'll just try using Lucy chart again. It works this time. Okay, so right, so let's include the shapes. UML. So we have two different kinds of vitamin. We have a vitamin class. Okay, let's just so these are the two kinds of vitamin. Every vitamin has a chemical formula. So vitamin has a chemical formula. So I'll just say chemical formula. So it's going to be a string. So as well as a letter and an integer. So as a letter, oh my god. As a letter, as a maybe character or no string. Should be a string as well. As an integer. Okay, they said every chemical has a chemical formula as a string as well as a letter and an integer, which both serve as identifiers. So ID, ID will be an integer. So for the methods, we have creation. So a multi-complex vitamin contains both kinds of vitamin. Okay, all right. So we'll just have a constructor here. Okay, we'll just say read. Oh, why is it always going here? Okay, I guess there's an issue with Lucid Chat. So I'll have a constructor, and then I'll also have a method read vitamin. So read vitamin will be void. So this method will be different for each of the classes. So there's an inheritance hierarchy here. Let's just see. So the inheritance will be yeah, I think that's all. So Then okay, let's make this protected because we need to be able to access them in the derived classes. Usually, I don't know why this problem. I just keep. Oh no! Wait. You can't. Okay, I guess. So you'll have something like this. So you can include any kind of variables inside. It's up to you. Now we have the final class, which is a multivitamin complex. This is really, something's really happening. Let me just. Okay, so I think this will be better. So the multivitamin complex will contain both kind of vitamins. So we'll have a containment relationship here, like a has-a relationship. So just to show the relationship, you don't need to do much here because it's only 5 marks. So you can just say something like vitamin, then vitamin, then you just have a constructor like then you have a method, maybe initialize, and that's basically it. Like I said, here you can just have the derived method like read vitamin, like the same method here. Okay, fine. You can have these methods and put in any attributes you like. And that will be it. I think that's all. So next question, let's go to the next. So just so the next question is a pure virtual function has no implementation, pure virtual function has no. So the first answer is implementation, B is file access, C is possible use, D restriction, E limit. So what do you think will be the answer here? You can type on the chat maybe. Okay, so the answer will be implementation, as you can see. So it's A. Okay, changing the behavior of a virtual function in a derived class is called. So the answer will be overriding. Overriding, you actually, when you have polymorphism, you have the same method, but with different implementation in the children classes. So the children classes. So 1.4, you have all operators should be overloaded as friend functions, true or false. All operators should be overloaded as friend functions. This is false because not all the operators are overloaded using the friend functions. Only the ones that require the use of a different class or different kind of using functions from different classes, like for example the output stream and the input stream. Since you are using classes from the IO stream, so it's like a different class. The other operators are just default in the same class. So that's what the answer should be false. So 1.5, which of the following are used to reuse code via an easy relationship? in a manner which is future-proof against new classes being introduced. Reuse code via an easy relationship in a manner that is which is future-proof against new classes being introduced. So the answer here will be polymorphism. Polymorphism because you will have to, polymorphism if you introduce new classes, as long as they inherit from the same base class with the same function that you override, it wouldn't really affect the flow of the program. And this is what they're asking here, because if you just say inheritance, you can have inheritance but with different methods, or and the methods are not abstract, so it wouldn't have that behavior. So the answer would be polymorphism here. Which of the following represents a Hasse relationship? Which two of the following? Okay, yeah. So this should be C and D. So C and D. 1.7. If a linked list were implemented using, it is not correct English. If linked lists were implemented using just a structure and a raw pointer, so that is with no functional classes, will it still count as being an abstract data type? Make use of the definition of abstract data type to justify your answer. So what is an abstract data type? An abstract data type is just a data type that is it's actually just a data type that encapsulates objects of the same type, so together, and to create a certain behavior with those objects. So in this case, whether the list is implemented using abstract data type, I mean, what is this? You used, for example, templates and stuff like that to implement. You can still do it with structure and raw pointers. So it wouldn't matter. The nature of a linked list is already by default, abstract data type, because it's more about the behavior and less about the what is used to implement it. So you just say, so if the list is implemented, let me see. So it will still count as an abstract data type. So just to get a more formal definition, abstract data type defines the behavior from the point of view of the user. So in this case, the user who, for example, makes use of the linked list will still not notice the effect. So the behavior is still abstracted from the user. So whether you implement it with a structure or pointer, the nature of the linked list is already by default, as an abstract data type. 1.8. So this is when does a class becomes an abstract base class? What restrictions exist on the use of abstract base class? So a class becomes an abstract base class when at least one of the methods are abstract. So when there's no implementation of one, or when there's at least one pure virtual function. So that is when it becomes abstract. And what restrictions exist on the use of abstract base class? So the abstract base class cannot be initialized, so cannot be instantiated. So you can just say answer. So describe. Let me just. So describe the action taken when the following operations are being performed. A, the pop. So what happens when you call the pop method? So pop method simply just removes an element. So removes the last element from the list. So removes the last element from the list, and then returns the object, the removed object. That's all basically it does. Then push what it does is push just insert a new element in the list. So this could be in a stack or a queue or a linked list or a singly linked list, array, anything. So these methods by default, that's what they behave. That's how they behave. So 1.10, identify the following. So identify the following techniques covered during the semester. An overriding function is called via a base class pointer or reference. So this is this technique, as you know, it's polymorphism. The next one is the variable method. The variable data member of a class are kept private. So this is just data hiding. or method hiding or something like that. So object hiding, I think it's a more very name for that. But, object hiding or visibility. The next one, sorted array of values in a search is searched in logarithmic time. So usually when you have an array, there's various techniques to quickly search through the list. So I'm sure you saw you were taught about quick sort, selection sort, bubble sort, and all those kind of techniques to go through the list. Each will work best in some kind of scenarios, but the one that returns logarithmic time when the array is sorted will be the what is this term? I just forgot the name. What is the name again? Quick sort. No, it's not a quick sort. Binary search. Yeah, binary search. Binary search because it considers, like, it keeps going through the list, and it takes half of the list. So for example, it goes through half. If the first half doesn't have the element it looks for, it ignores, like, as it divides the list into two. Like, the first round is divided into two, looks through the list. If it doesn't find, it divides again into two. So it keeps dividing into two until it narrows the range of search until it finds the element. So this is returns a logarithmic time. So the answer for this is binary search. So question 2, write your answer to the following in your answer books. So forward declaration, as we know, is just the name of the class, or you use the keyword class. So here we have an enumerator. So once you see status code, error codes, it's just an enumeration. So enumerate enum. So class data set, we have as you can see, we have methods here which are accessible in the other classes. So this is the public identifier. So C is just public. The data set. So here, this is the copy constructor, and what do we need for the copy constructor? We need to have a constant. So the object needs to be a constant reference. So the keyword there is const. Int get size e. This should just be. There's two cases here. It's either e will be const and then semicolon, or just semicolon, because this would work as well. I'll leave you to think about it, but I think both cases will work here because they didn't specify much. So I would say constant and then semicolon. Just like here. No, the size actually is not a constant, so this should be semicolon just. Well, I think this wouldn't really change anything, but yeah. So if you have these methods, so int get value, int set value, constant int. What is f here? Okay, I know G is the destructor, so F should be what is this? What is this? I think F should be private. No, private is H. I'm not sure what F is. Does anyone know what F could be? Because it's oh yeah, static. Yeah, thank you. F is static. So yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the only like possibility there. So F is static. So data set. So this will just be the destructor here. So the tilde sign. The next one, H. As you know, we consider these private members, so H will be private. Class average calculator, I. So I, we were taught about public inheritance, so the I could only be public in this case. So help with the inheritance. Okay, so that's it for that question, I think. Oh yeah, there's J as well. So J is so this is where the delegation happens and the polymorphism. So we need to have to access the dereferenced object in the composed class. So we use the arrow. So J would just be arrow. Then next 2.2. So this was 2.1. And so if you consider the following data structure, we have V1, V2, V3, which are of any type, and the following symbol represents the null pointer. So this is the null pointer. So usually this structure, what comes in your mind when you see this? You have an object with a link to the previous object, a link to the next object, and the first object is kind of like the head, which is null pointer. The last object is also a null pointer. So it's just like a doubly linked list. So it's a linked list, but now since there's link to the previous and the next object, so if the arrow was only going in one direction, this would be like a singly linked list. But here there's two arrows, so this would be doubly linked list. So now we want to write a C++ code for this, so all you will have is just we just have a structure. So you'll create a template structure. So since it's of any type, you will have it as something like this. You'll have to create a template, type name T, then you create a structure. So this would be like a node, and then you have the value T. You have also a node a node reference, so a node reference to the pointer to the previous element. For example, you can call it previous, and a node pointer to the next element. Maybe next link. So something like this. So this would be your answer. So now the next question, according to the rule of three, or the big three of data structures in question 1. Okay, according to the rule of three, or the big three, the data structure in question 2.1 is missing something. Name the missing operation and briefly describe what it is. So my guess here, I'm not too sure. My guess here is that it's missing a type. Since we don't know the type, maybe if you know the answer, you can just let me know. But my guess is that it's missing an actual type. Sorry, just not too sure about this. So what is the rule of three? Okay, from what I see here, the rule of three claims that compiler generator version does not fit in it. So it has to do with initializing a class. So so there's three functions that are required for this case. Three functions. So in a data structure, you must have a destructor, a copy constructor, and a copy assignment operator, from what I see here. If def is this the answer for the question, or I don't think this is the one, because this refers to the library, to actual library. You don't actually need to have libraries for data structures. So I believe, because I know the rule of three, it has to do about like having these three components: destructor, copy constructor, assignment operator. So this, since it uses a structure, it doesn't actually have those components. So I would say, oh yeah, so yeah, you just have to list the components. So you just 2.4 or 2.3. So you have the destructor, you have the copy constructor. Copy constructor just zip copy of current instance. And we have the assignment operator. Okay. So the missing one here would be destructor, and you know, those are the missing ones. All of them actually are missing. Well, this is my guess. I'm not too sure. So describe how exception handling can be combined with inheritance and polymorphism to create powerful combined approach to error handling. So here they're just asking you, like, how can you make an inheritance hierarchy to model a exception handling for different errors. So you just say create class objects for various errors, known errors. Okay, known errors. Uh, uh, and each will inherit from the exception base class. Then we override each methods throw exception classes to output corresponding error. Then output the corresponding error, and finally we throw the exception at each use case, so at each instance, or maybe how can we at the specified scenario code. So that's basically how we can use inheritance, of course you can mention like different classes, or you can put actual class names just to make sure you have a detailed explanation, and you emphasize on how when you call exception, you instantiate an exception based on the type of message or the type of error that you have. It's going to throw in the specified exception. So yeah, 2.5 define the following object-oriented related concepts. So we have 2.5. So we have a class. So all of you should know by now, a class is just a container for objects with certain behavior and with attributes. So a class is just a container for object and behavior. So it's just, in simple terms. Or if you want to have a full definition, you can say something like it's a program code template for creating objects with initial values for states and implementation of behavior. So yeah, so let's just say it's a container template for so behavior can be a function, a method, or a function. Next you have an object. So an object, what is an object? An object is just a how will I define an object? It's just how can I define an object? Well, an object is just a an abstract data type. I would just say an abstract data type with the addition of polymorphism and inheritance. That's just basically. So an object has state and behavior. Just that's all I know. Yeah, basically an instance of a class. In simple terms, I'm just trying to complicate things. So encapsulation is just the combination of data and behavior into a single unit. So combination of data and behavior into a single unit. So a class is an example of encapsulation, because you're actually, it's actually an example of encapsulation. So right, the push operation of a stack can be implemented using singly linked lists. Draw the series of diagram showing addition of new items to pre-existing stack. So this would basically just be just the addition of a new element to the stack. So firstly, how can I do this? Paint, or maybe let's use, since I'm in paint. Nah, let me use Lucid chart. So just create here. So so I'll just have a bunch of elements here in the stack. So this will be stack. Let me just say stack. So let's say this is your stack. You have an element 1 here, you have an element 2, you have an element 3, you have an element 6, for example. So this is kind of like the top. So this would be the top of your stack. So this is like top. Then let's say when you insert an element, so say for example inserting 5, for example 5. So the 5 goes actually to the top of the stack. So you'll have the same stack. And then in addition you'll have this element which is 5, which is inserted at the top, and then you'll have that's basically it, because they just asked for okay. So since you are using singly linked list, I think what you can do is, so let me see how I can do this. The last element, right? The last element, which is 1, or the top of the stack, which is 1, is currently pointing to let me see if I can. It's currently pointing to something like, it's pointing to null. So null. Now the pointer will change, and it's also pointing to the other elements, which are like 2 and stuff like that. It's also pointing to those elements. So now this will change. After addition, it will become something like this. You'll still have the same things, but it will now become the next element will now be 5. Then the 5 will be pointing to null. Since now 5 is at the top of the stack, so this will be for push operation. So this is like push. So that's basically it. So question 3, hope we'll finish this. Okay. Question 3 is quite a lot. So the text file, okay, in your answer book, please write the necessary C++ code for the following statements and answer the remaining questions. Unless otherwise indicated, you may assume that the necessary header files are included. Most of the marks in this section are awarded to file handling operations. So file handling, here we want to write to a file. So here, yeah. So we have this text file, drone telemetry.txt, which is made up of lines in the following format. So each line will have a drone ID, which is a value, date time as a value, x and y and z, which are the latitude, what is this? Yeah, latitude, longitude, latitude, and altitude of the drone, respectively. And then end of the line, which is just like, the kind of like /n character. So write the code which that prints the drone. Okay, write code which finds and prints the drone ID of earliest entry. So yeah, this is a string. This is an integer. So this is an integer. This is a string. This is double, and this is end of line. So you can just write something here. So we are assuming that the libraries are included. So let me just do this. It's better like this. Now we have, so since we are assuming the libraries are included, I'll just have, I just have the main. The main, I will have to declare output stream, because we are trying to read this file called drone telemetry.txt. So I'll just create my file, then actually, file stream file. Oh my god. Idea. So if the file is open, so if my file is opened, I have to say, so let's see the question again. Yeah, so we have to get the line, right? We have to get each line in the file. So we have a while loop here, and we say get line into my file line. Then for each line we will just, for each line we will have variables for example, x, since we are told this x double x, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So let's see. So like I was saying, we have to have double for x, y, and z. You have to have an integer for the drone ID and the date time as well. No, like drone ID is a string, date time is an integer. So you can make unsigned can make this unsigned integer. Of course, you have to have semicolon. This is actual code. You have to have a signed integer. So string ID. So actually, this should be inside here. So once you have this, let's see. How do we do this again? Okay, we'll just create string line. So this string line contains my file now. So you can just now say how do we get, okay, wait, how do we get specific oh, I think we should just use cin, cout, no, cout. It's kind of confusing. Do we have to use binary files here, or so we want to print the ID of the earliest entry, so we'll just let's see, you can just say something like the earliest entry. Actually, we don't need this, so we don't actually need this. We'll just say get line. So how do we do this again? Get line. So this will give you the line in the code. So now you'll need to print out the ID. I'm not too sure how we can do that. I'm forgetting something here. Anyway, you need to close the file afterward. You'll have something like this. I'll just have to revise a couple of things, but yeah, that's basically it. I think if you just look in your back, you can easily find that. So As long as you show code for opening and closing, they should be fine. Define a structure with alignment padding disabled to represent the data for one drone position entry. Assuming this contains no spaces, but you need much precision as possible to store data. So this was 3.1. 3.2. So we need to define a structure. So alignment padding disabled. So what we'll do is you will simply pragma back. So the name of the structure will be, well, you can just call it drone. And just call it drone. Then you put in the entries. So well, this doesn't need to have initial values. Then you also need to have pragma back up. That's all you'll need. So now they say assume that okay, there's still question 4. You try and finish question 3. So assume that the file drone telemetry.dat is a binary file of homogeneous records of the type defined in question 3.2. Write code which saves a fixed length array of size 64 such entry to this binary file of record. You do not need to handle errors. So since it's only 5 marks, you don't need to do much, just only do what is asked. So if you so for binary files, right, we're trying to write to the file, right? So what is this again? So firstly, we have to open the file. So my file, and we are told that the file is called. I mean, we have to create this file. So it's called this. Then you have to open with a certain permission. So you want to write, so it should be out, and we should specify that this is a binary file. Yes. Now, if well, you don't actually need to check. Now, since we want to write uh, save the fixed length array of size 64 of such entry. So we want to save like 64 lines basically of this thing here. So taken from the structure. So what we need to do is we just need to go like, since they are drones, so here it's a drone by drones. I hope this is how you declare an actual arrays. So, well, they said you should assume that you already have this. So if you have something like my drone, well, actually what I'm doing here you don't need to do. So I'm just trying to show you how you can have members. So equal, for example, x. So basically you'll have this, right, for number here for like y, z. Mm, just 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. So like you can name it whatever. Like, yeah, I don't even know what I was trying to do here. Yeah, so once assuming you have this array, let's get to the actual writing to the file. So to write to the file, you will just have to say you look through all the elements of the array. So you go int I equal to 0, I less than 64. You are told there's 64 things in the array, and I plus plus. So you'll have to say my file write. Then you'll have to say char star I think this is where you do that interpret cast, whatever, interpret cast, something like that. But you'll have to check this out because the syntax is, just not too sure about it. Then you have, I think this comes before or after, I'm not sure. So you have to say reference to what? To the actual student record. So drone record, drone, then so drone so in the list of drones, size of drone. Then basically you close the file afterward. That's all you need. My file. If well, yeah, I think that's basically all what you need to do. That's all. So the next one is assume the file drone is pre-existing. Write code which assesses a given record by index. So now we are reading the file here. We are reading the file 3.4. Firstly, we have to open the file again. So we always have to open and close the file. So we open the file with read permission. So once we open the file, we get the size. To get the size of the file, we have to call the tlg method. Then we you just say file that g. So here you have to say my file. So my file dot g. So we want to read from 0 to I mean, from the beginning. So beginning. No, actually, we want to read from the beginning to the end, so 0 to the end. So my file. You have to have that method to calculate the size of a single entry. So it's a single what is this? Drone in the list. Just forgot how that method goes. Basically, let's see if I can find it. Let me just get it short. So you read this and then you put it in. But we are trying to read how many students. Oh, actually, we are trying to read one record, so you just have to set the pointer to beginning. Then we create the drone. So drone, my drone equal to new drone. Oh, actually, this is a structure, right? Drone. You just have to say drone. The structure. So actually, here I was just supposed to do this. So it's a structure. We create the drone and then we now shift. We now say the read drone, my drone, and then the size which we have here. So basically that is what we will have. Then we close the file afterwards. The file closed. So that's basically what we have. So the next question, consider the following code. Oh, the time is actually up, so I don't think we'll be able to do this. But anyway, guys, all the best for the exam. This was the last week, so all the best. Unfortunately, we couldn't finish. This is a 3-hour exam, so we cannot actually finish everything in one session. Well, yeah, if I had prepared more, maybe, but I wasn't really. I was doing other things. So, but all the best. I hope you have no question. This is, I think, the last week of the semester, and so you'll just go and prepare your exam. Before your exam, I think yesterday was projects day. So yeah, I think, yeah. So all the best. You'll do well. Just revise all what you've been doing throughout the semester, and you'll be fine. Okay. Thank you.